Yo, you are hot, bro. Holy shit. How we doing, baby?
I'm doing good, brother. What's up?
Dude, can I just firstly say thank you. A big round of applause for you taking your time out to be here today. You fucking legend. So the way that this is going to work is we have you on the show for around an hour and 30 minutes, as you know. I have a variety of questions that I want to kind of get through to you. I'm looking to learn more about you and give you an opportunity to kind of tell the people about your experiences and stuff with streaming. So let's start right at the beginning. You know, how did you get into Twitch gaming? And yeah, man, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I used to watch Dashy. He's a big YouTuber. He's kind of like in the group of like Markiplier, PewDiePie at the time. PewDiePie kind of blew up, but we used to watch Dashy all the time, and he was just hilarious. I used to watch it with my friend Sal, and he'd come over. We'd just watch his YouTube videos for like hours, and then we would just like die laughing. Like we wouldn't even have to play video games together. And then one day I was just like, dude, like this is his job. Like this doesn't make sense. Like someone can do this. Was before I even knew about Twitch, really.
Yeah.
And my friend was just like, why don't you just go do it? You know, like you always talk about wanting to like video game, stream, make content. And I was like, you know what, you're right. So like the next day I went to Best Buy. I think I got this webcam and I got some stuff. I streamed off my Xbox and made an account on Twitch and then kind of got started from there.
How long ago are we talking about here? Like, what's the time scale on this?
I think it was like January or February of last year. So I've been streaming for about a year and 6 months, I think.
We started at literally the same time then, right? I started at 2018 February as well, 20 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was like a big wave of people during that time.
Yeah, like I remember literally meeting everyone through that. I think I've known you for probably around a year plus now, personally.
Yeah, I think so.
Crazy. So you came in through that.
Yes.
In regards to you, like obviously before streaming and stuff, have you always been interested in gaming, or did it like kind of kick at a certain age?
I think from a very young age, like I used to play like Pokemon Blue, Red,
Nice.
like Super Mario. Like I remember the very first gaming system I think I played was like, I think it was like the original Game Boy, like before even color.
Same.
Or something like that. Yeah, it was like Super Mario Bros. Or something like that. And then I played the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, 360, and then I found out about streaming when I had the Xbox One,
That's
which
amazing.
was like a year and a half ago.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Have you ever been like, so obviously you found out about streaming and you got involved quite quickly after that. Were you on Twitch for long as like a viewer, or have you like ever since you've been on Twitch you've always been here as a streamer? Like the difference between the two?
I think I was always a streamer.
Wow,
I found the app. Yeah, I found the app on Xbox. I remember it was just like an app, and I was like, I didn't even know what it meant.
Yeah.
And I like found out you could stream from like your Xbox, and that was a couple months, and I didn't really like look into it. Then I made the account, and then like I kind of decided like when I was with my friend, I just wanted to stream because
Yeah.
I've always like been into making like even before streaming, I used to like make Snapchat videos, kind of like how TikTok is now. But I used to make videos like that for my friends and try to make them laugh. And like people would always message me and be like, your videos like make me laugh every day. So like that's kind of how I knew. And I've always tried to be like the funny friend in the group. So like I've always knew that I've liked entertaining. And then streaming came and I was like, this is perfect. Like it's gaming, entertaining. And like the community, like everyone's so nice and so welcoming, and like that's what really makes it.
Yeah, no, it really does. And as well in the chat, guys, if y'all are here, I want to ask any questions in this process for Wave, please do. You know, we'll take breaks between our own questions to make sure that your questions are answered. So if you guys have got any questions for Mr. Wave or myself at any point during this process, please throw them in the chat. So Wave, you know, you've been into gaming for a long time. You've pretty much been on. You know, I find this really rare actually because I've been on Twitch personally for about 8 years and only started last year.
Wow.
Yeah, I was here since JTV, so it was I never even really thought about doing it myself. It's weird. So to see someone who got here as a streamer, I think is amazing. Like I love that, like a whole different side to the story. In regards to the other side of your personal life outside of streaming, tell us a little bit about like how old you are, what you do for a living, and all that kind of stuff at the moment.
So I'm 26, even though I don't look like it. Like I have this baby face,
I
patchy
think you
beard,
look
you know,
older
all
than
that
me,
stuff.
personally. I think you do.
Really?
I think you look a little bit older than me. Yeah, I think so.
I think the height might help a little bit. For
Wow,
me.
come on, bro. I thought you were calling me
I
out.
didn't say it was against you. You were actually all right. The thing about Sally is everyone saw that picture of him in the backpack, right? I thought this dude was like 5'3", 5'2".
Oh god.
I see him in person. He's like 5'7", 5'8". This dude's not short at all.
5'8".
So 5'8". Yeah, we'll give him a 5'8".
There we go.
But we didn't check his shoes. I think he was wearing boots, but say 5'8".
I was actually wearing Air Max 97s because they make you look a bit taller. But I also like them shoes, so don't hit me on that one.
Those
chat.
are nice.
Yeah, man. That's
But oh yeah, so I'm 26. I worked part-time at a restaurant. I go to school full-time. I'm finishing up. I have like 3 or 4 weeks left, get my bachelor's, finally get that over with. And then I've been streaming part-time for like most of the time, but I'm starting to really like take streaming and like collabs and like,
Yeah.
you know, podcasting is really new for me. That just was last week, but just stuff like that, trying to take it serious and capitalize on a bunch of platforms.
Yeah.
From Michigan. What else?
You said you've almost finished your major in. Sorry, what is it you're majoring in?
Yeah, business administration.
Okay. All right.
So I'm doing that. I minored in sports management because I played a little bit of community college ball for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then I was like huge into sports, but then I found streaming, and like streaming knocks everything out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
just, I don't know, everything about it is like, I'm obsessed with like streaming, content creating, like obsessed. Like, it's when you find something that you're like naturally doing and there's not even a profession for it, that's when you know like you found your passion.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, bro. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I also wanted to, eventually get into it full time as well. But that being said, before streaming, what was your passion there? What did you want to get into before that? Work-wise?
Before, well, so my minor's in sports management. So before streaming, I did the basketball thing, and then I did a little bit of coaching the year before streaming. I did JV coaching, like assistant, and then I was like, I took, what was it, like a scouting class for basketball. So I was like huge into basketball. I followed the Detroit Pistons all the time, and like I was just like trying to be like, I wanted to work within like an organization for basketball. So like that was huge. That's why my minor's sports management.
Yeah.
But then like streaming kind of took over my life, pretty much.
Yeah, it really does that, right? It comes into your life unexpectedly, and it's just like boom, you get stuck in this amazing platform, and you're like, bruh, I just love it here so much. It's honestly, it's so cool. And moving forward with it, is this once you finish your major and everything like that, and everything's settled, are you going to look to try and take this one day into full-time content creation?
That's like 100% the goal in mind. I think until then, I'm going to try to be smart about it and save money and not invest too much into like mindless stuff, because I pretty much have enough stuff to like work with to make content. So I think that's a big thing that I kind of didn't know at the beginning. I was always like, I need new graphic. I got to change something. Like that's, as a new streamer, you're always like, I need a new this, I need a new that. And then you're just dropping money. And once you get into it for a while, you start to realize like, damn, like I have the tools, like now I just need to work,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Sweets also says, what stuff did you first start streaming games wise?
Unfortunately, like I was in the Fortnite, like whatever the big hype about Fortnite, everyone started streaming that, but I'm the type of person, like I don't like to follow people. I like to do my own thing, and I started streaming Fortnite because I actually enjoyed the game. It wasn't just because it was the big game.
Yeah.
So like that was the thing with me, and I was on my Xbox and I would use my laptop to do Streamlabs, and then like I realized like probably 6 months later, like Streamlabs was just having too many updates, and I was like, I can't stream any of these games because my laptop can't handle this. So I ended up getting my PC and everything, and lately I've been doing like variety, like Destiny, Gears of War, and stuff like that. Switch it up.
How do you find it being going into variety from pretty much just one game streaming? You find it's like a big difference?
I think the community is different. Like with Fortnite, it was generally younger audience that wanted to play with you 24/7, which is fine. Like I like playing with my community, but like if that's the first thing you say, it gets old. Like I had to make a command in my channel. Like I play with regulars first and mods and people that I know, and then if there's spots open, I might play with people. But like if that's the only reason you're coming to the channel, then I don't think that I'm making the right content.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Exactly. So like the goal is to entertain, and then like with variety, I feel like you meet people that are actually passionate about the game. That's the difference with being like having your niche or streaming new games that aren't like so big like Fortnite. You find people that actually care about the story, the characters, and they're invested in the game and you. Yeah. And I feel like I've met my best viewers through games like that.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, good answers, honestly. Tixie also says, what gives you the motivation to keep streaming?
The let's see. There's multiple things, but one's the community. Like, there's so many cool people I meet. TwitchCon was huge motivation to
God,
want to do
yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Like, I want my own like, you want your own meet and greet. You want to be partner. You want to be able to support yourself. You want to make people laugh. Another motivation was getting those messages where people were like, I was having a bad day, or like, I haven't been in the best mental state, and you've
Yeah.
kind of brought me out of that. Like, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's say stuff like that.
It makes a big difference, you know, when people, especially when you get it in like DMs and stuff, and somebody comes up to you and says, you know, well, the advice that you've given or your content really makes a big difference to my day. That shit's like fucking life changing, right? Like, it makes you think, holy, you've become that person that you've always looked up to, if that makes sense. You're now that person that someone else now looks up to. So I find it
nuts.
really interesting that anybody can just start a stream and become this, you know, if you do it right, you can become this big inspiration. Trip says, welcome in, Trip, by the way. Who are some people that inspire you?
Ooh. As far as big streamers, I was watching CDN the Third.
Yeah.
He was doing the pirate games. I don't know if people remember that, but he did this thing in CFD where he created his own game, kind of, and it was like everyone would be in their own crew on their ship, and you'd have to find resources, the chests, kill stuff, and there'd be a point system. Well, there's this one point where he was in the rowboat, which is like literally just a small boat attached to your boat that you can use when you're on islands to travel around the island. But he had to row across like the ocean, and like any other content creator, you're kind of just there. Like, it's such a idle, such a lull in the stream, because you're like, there's just water, there's nothing happening. And he was like, he always is playing like this, like your type of music, and I like it too, like house music or like upbeat, like EDM, and like he was like dancing to it and playing throwbacks, and like it was like a whole like performance, and it was like funny and interesting, and you didn't even realize the game was going on.
Yeah.
So like stuff like that is just like, wow, like someone can kind of bring life out of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it makes sense. It's like you said, it's you worded it perfectly. It's more like a performance rather than sitting watching somebody play a game, right? They bring like every aspect you want to see.
Exactly.
And Senior, also welcome to the channel, brother, says, do you feel like where you live keeps you from making the content that you wish to make? I'm going to answer this after you do, actually. Last question.
Ooh, that's a good one. So like when I was in TwitchCon, like I feel like if all the streamers were in one area, or even just a group, it doesn't even have to be like thousands and thousands, but like say I lived with like 8 content creators in a small house or something, like I have so many ideas on my phone, like I could bring them to life because they require more than just me most of the time. Or like have people on podcasts, or like have them literally in the same room as a podcast, or like play with them, or like make little skits for YouTube. Like, there's so much you can do when you have people in person.
Yeah. I'm going to flip that over and talk about it from the other's point of view, Senior, in that I also think that I could. I'm very happy with my streaming setup and my streaming room. However, because obviously I'm still at home and I have to think about my neighbors as well, I can only stream at like certain times. Most of my viewership, I know from engaging, are from the States. And if I could stream, rather than stream from like 3 till 10, to stream to like 5 till 1 in the morning, or in the Eastern time, that'd be 12 till 8, I would open up to a whole new audience that I know are probably at work or not able to get here when I want them to be here. So absolutely, man, like where you live and your time constraints and all that, it makes a massive difference. Before the questions came in, we were talking about like the way that your channel is and the way that you want it to move. So tell us a little bit about your channel in terms of your schedule, the games that you're currently playing, and if you like feature certain games on certain days.
Okay, so the crazy thing is that I used to stream Wednesday, so there was a time in my life where that was like last summer, I streamed for literally like 2.5, 3 months straight, seven days a week, like 6 to 10 hours, like crazy. Like, you'd think I was trying to go pro, but I didn't. The skills weren't there. I was just like wanted to stream every day.
Yeah.
But then like recently, I don't even know like how this happened, but I would try to like practice like singing and stuff. I used to play piano when I was younger, and I would play the keys, and I would try to match the note with my voice. Well, I had my keyboard broke, and then I tried to do the same thing with my phone for like, I think it was like a month straight. And for some reason, the 30th day, I had my birthday stream, which was like 9 hours. I sang that day, and then I like injured like a vocal cord or something. Like, it was the weirdest thing. I just overused my voice. It happens to like singers and teachers. I ended up going to the doctor after like a month, but like that kind of knocked me out of streaming for like 3 months. So that was a tough part. So like for now, I just got back into it. That's why I couldn't do the interview the
I
first
remember
time.
saying, yeah.
And so I recently got back into it, and so part of it feels like I'm starting over because like I feel like I've been kind of out of touch with my community. I try to do community nights and stuff, but like when you can't talk, it's like that's literally what you need for streaming and content, like literally. But so like that was kind of like a setback, but it kind of motivated me and made me realize like how much I missed making content and how much every like day, every moment you have to make the most you can. So instead of just saying I'm going to make a YouTube video, you actually do it. So there's a difference with that, like the mindset. I was super excited for like Gears 5, but I don't know, like some of the changes they made, like you see how like the Fortnite community is with like changes and how the pros react to updates. It's kind of like that with Gears. Like a lot of people are upset. So I've been kind of shifting into Destiny 2, and that's been like super relaxing. Because like the PvE, you can upgrade your armor, you can play with friends, you can do raids. Like I really like it. It's mouse and keyboard. I've never gamed on mouse and keyboard, so it's all like a big change. So, and then like October, you know how every streamer will be like scary streams and all that. So I've been like trying to implement that like at least once a day. So I'm just really trying to like try new games. Like I played Deceit last weekend with friends, and that was really fun. I don't know if you've played it.
I've heard of it. I think I've seen it before actually.
Yeah, it's just basically everyone is human and one's the killer, but you don't know because they're in human form. And it's really fun. So
that sounds interesting. I bet that's good with a good group of friends as well, right?
Oh, it's hilarious. I was playing with a Sicily, and it was awesome.
That sounds amazing. Sweets asked in the chat, how do you keep yourself from burning out of streaming? Do you ever feel burnt out?
I know a lot of people like deal with this, but I've never really felt the burnout part. I guess the burnout part for me is just the mental burnout, because like I'm like, you always are like, how can I do this? How can I have better content? Like I want to make a new type of YouTube video. I want to have better tweets. I want to stream better games. I want to grow my community. And like, that's the only kind of mental burnout I have, because I'm like constantly thinking, and like, it kind of stresses you out sometimes.
Yeah. I'm exactly the same as you on that in terms of, I guess from someone who has had a mental burnout personally, Sweets, mine was last November. I've only ever had one, and I had a lot of stress in my life from an IRL relationship that was going sour in terms of losing friends and all that kind of stuff in the chat. So I think in times as well, IRL could make a massive impact on a burnout, whether it be a relationship, because not everybody accepts Twitch or understands what Twitch is. Sometimes I feel like people that aren't on Twitch have no idea about all the amazing shit that goes on around here, right? Like have you ever had that situation where you've had to like explain to someone what you do or what you enjoy doing, and they just look at you with this blank face like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, basically you have to break it down so like simple, because some people have no idea what streaming even is. Not like nonetheless Twitch. So you have to be like, oh, I stream on Twitch. They're like, what's Twitch? You're like, oh, it's a streaming platform. What's streaming? You're like,
it's gonna be a while.
It's like YouTube. It's like YouTube, but in real time. And they're like, so there's people there. Like they ask all these funny questions.
Yeah, and they're like, what? People sit there and watch you play games. That's literally the quote that comes out every time. And then they're like, wait, you make a living from this? Wait, people pay to you play games? I'm like, you just have no fucking idea. And then they actually like watch it, and they're like, you know what? Actually, it's pretty addictive. And you're like, I can see how that happens. It's really, really interesting. Just to take it back away from that real quick, guys, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's here right now. Wayne Nation, thank you for the Twitch Prime. And to everybody who's just joined us, Danzo, Bashley, Nando, welcome in, brother. Good to see you. Zach Star, welcome in. Wayne as well. This is the legend that is ElectricityWave, who's joining us on an interview today. As you guys know, on Community Night, we do this every Monday. Here is his Twitter. Drop him a follow. You can find all his links from that as well. If you guys do know who Wave or don't know who Wave is, he's going to be telling us a lot more about himself today. And we've got about another hour and 15 minutes to go. And again, if you guys have got questions, please keep them coming in the chat. Wave, so moving forward from that, we spoke about your potential for wanting to get into full-time streaming and how you'd love it as a content creator. In regards to that, do you think that you would have to change a lot of like the your current streaming hours, the games that you play? Do you think that you need to make more things in motion to get them plans started? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think if anything, it sounds weird, but it's everything that but streaming that I need probably to get in motion.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like the biggest thing that I think streamers miss out on, and myself, is YouTube. And I think the reason is because it's such a difficult, massive like platform
Yeah.
where you might think like, oh shit, like there's this, I gotta make this video. It's gotta be like produced and edited up and like crazy. But I think if you just start and kind of just make content and get in the kind of the motion of things, that'll be huge just to understand YouTube, because there's so much, like there's like the most users. I'm what was it, like 8 billion?
It's
Like
nuts.
it's insane.
Yeah.
But like YouTube's huge. Instagram's still a mystery to me.
Yeah.
Twitter's probably my favorite platform to grow on because you have the
Same.
shareability, the retweets.
Yeah.
I think TikTok honestly is pretty huge, and I didn't want to make one for so long because I was just like, I don't want to like cringe at myself. But
Mhm.
like, if I want to do that, I just watch my VODs.
Same.
But like, there's so many like younger. There's like Vine is like a younger, or like Vine was like the old TikTok, and TikTok.
Hmm.
I was like, I'll give it a chance. Like, if I don't like it, oh well. But like, I've actually really enjoyed it. It's like perfect for those little stupid videos where it's not a stream highlight, but like it's like I have an idea. Like, what would be funny if like it starts off as like, oh, what if your girlfriend doesn't text back? And then you're like, how can I make that funny
Hmm.
into a like a video, edited up a little bit? They give you a lot of options, music. So like that's pretty cool. I think Snapchat's mainly just for connecting with your audience because
Yeah.
that's tough to grow. I don't know. I think YouTube's huge. I think I'm really excited about the like podcasting because
Mhm.
I've always enjoyed watching podcasts. I've always enjoyed being on them, and the more you do it, the more it becomes to just hang out with your friends and less like an interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I completely understand. That's why I like podcasts, where I get to hear the perspective of somebody else.
That too.
And it can, yeah, and it can be like really inspirational watching two people come together and kind of just see how they connect with each other, and like, you know, what the, you know, mixed feelings and opinions are. And Twitch also says, who would you say, what would you say is your biggest strength and weakness in streaming?
Biggest strength, man.
Is looks.
That would be it looks. That's what some people say, but I would say biggest strength would be ability to like be creative and kind of uh I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but I see people that copy other ideas
Yeah,
from people, and I like to try to think of my own stuff.
yeah,
And I think sense of humor and kindness and understanding would be like was strengths, and then weaknesses would be probably. I mean, if it's a platform, it's probably Instagram and YouTube. But I guess weaknesses would be just a willing to probably asking people for help. Like I probably should ask people like you or Green Dumpling, or you know, like people that have shown like some type of like success in their like the way that they stream and build a community.
yeah.
But I just don't like reaching out sometimes because I feel like people already have a lot of on their plate, you know.
I understand
So
that.
I'd say weakness, yeah.
But
So
then,
I'd say that probably.
you got to look at it as every shot you don't take is a shot wasted. So
True.
you matter just as much as anybody else does, and the quicker you get that into your head, the more you can, what's the word for it? The more you can start capitalizing on stuff. Because, for example, if you ever ask me anything, you know, as soon as I can get back to you, I will always do that. So if you've ever got questions or anything, man, or you want to shoot for the stars, you gotta ask them questions, bro. Because if you don't, then you never know what you could be missing out on. So
True.
And Finchy in the chat says about, oh, this is a Fortnite related question about the black hole. What's your opinion on this black hole and not being able to play? Because if you're like a Fortnite content
That's
creator,
funny.
right, they're not able to play the game that you know, potentially gives them a life or they make money off. Like, what the hell is going on? What's your thoughts on it?
It's funny that that was brought up because I was literally, when you were gonna call me, I was gonna be staring into like a picture of the black hole.
That would have been so funny.
Like while you're calling me to start it off.
God.
But like I don't think I have a printer, so.
Oh.
But I think, I mean, if I was a huge streamer, I would be loving it because I was looking at like Tfue had like 300K, Cypher was at 100K. They probably love it. Like,
yeah,
it's creating so much attention. But if you're just a pro player and not a content creator, I would probably be pissed because like you want to get your scrims in, all that stuff, and you can't.
Yeah, and also, what about if you're like a big streamer but not big enough to kind of get away with what like Tfue and all that get away with? You'd be sitting there like, bro, this is the game where my
Mhm.
channel revolves around and I can't fucking get on it. You know, you
Mhm.
start losing your
Yeah,
mind, like
it's
how to.
tough.
Yeah, it's a real tough one. So very very good question in regards to the whole
It
Fortnite
was.
thing. And you said about obviously that you've moved to variety now, right? So you have that option um, to diverge
Mhm.
into that and move into that. But with just to pull myself
Exactly.
in for that content in regards to again, I've never been a one game streamer or anything like that. With this new COD coming out, that's going to be the first time I'm ever going to be moving into like potentially one game. Um,
Mhm.
One thing I've noticed, Wave, and this is something I always try to kind of assess as a streamer. Usually, the biggest streamers in the world, on the most part, are known within a particular game, right?
Mhm.
It's I would say it's a lot harder to make it like into like the average of hundreds as a view as a what's the word for it, as a variety streamer. What do you think about that? What's your thoughts
Mhm.
on that?
Like growth as a variety streamer?
Yeah, do you think if you were just streaming one game versus a variety, that your growth would go quicker as a one game streamer versus a variety streamer? What
I
do you
mean,
think?
if you're like I'd say if you're like a beast at the game, then that's the route I would take. Like
Yeah,
if I'm like a god at Fortnite, I'm gonna play Fortnite and grow off that, and then build your community. Hopefully, they stick with it because they enjoy your personality.
yeah.
Um, but if you're not like super good at a game, then I would say variety is like a good way to go. But I mean, it just depends, I guess. Like people, as long as you can get discovered and get your name out there, that's why I think like Twitch is a hard platform. If you didn't have any social medias, growing on just Twitch would be really tough.
Yeah. Some people manage to do it
So
though. Like I've seen,
yeah,
like I even see some like partner streamers, and then you go and check follow them on Twitter. They've only got a couple of hundred followers, and they average like hundreds of viewers
it's
per stream.
nuts.
It is nuts, and they've built all their
Hmm.
success from just sitting on Twitch and tweeting, going live, and that's it. It's crazy. But it also gives you another perspective on how things are. I don't know. Is there another question in the chat that
Maybe
I missed?
I mean if they played that one game though, I think a lot of those people were like pioneers. So like you see
Yeah,
like Tim the Tatman or like people like that, they've been streaming for like
yeah,
before I even knew what Twitch was. It
yeah,
was like Justin.tv or whatever. So like
yeah.
I think being the first person to pretty much find the gold in the mine is like a perk as well.
Do you not think when the question with regards to like one game versus variety games, in that, yeah, people will come back for you, but do you think for some people that the game you play is the make or break? So, for example, as a one game
Mhm.
streamer, they know what game you're going to be playing. They know that they enjoy that as well as enjoying you. So they're more likely to come back consistently versus a variety streamer who may change up 3 times a week. They might be like, right, well, I'll come on a certain day potentially if they're playing the right game or not.
Mhm.
Because again, what's your thoughts on that?
I think it depends on the streamer. So like
Yeah,
I've been in that position as a viewer where like someone wasn't playing a game. They were
yeah,
playing a game I really just didn't care for, so I didn't watch. But
yeah.
like there's other streamers where like they could play like the Untitled Goose Game or like Atari or just sit there and like I could watch them all day. So it
Yeah,
just depends.
interesting. I always find that really, really interesting to see what people's thoughts are on variety versus one game streamer mentalities.
Mhm.
Oh, hold on. Finch's question was, you murdered my question. What about the people losing their minds, like breaking laptops and TVs and screaming? What are the thoughts on those people?
You wanker.
It
Uh,
always calls me that.
I would say I don't know. Like if it's a joke, it's hilarious. But because I
Content.
saw a video of like him and his friends, yeah, like just like the dude was like vacuuming his back, and then the dude was like shooting a Nerf gun at a teddy bear. Like that was funny.
Yeah,
But like if you're actually pissed because of that, I don't know. Like if you're breaking, I don't ever see the goal or like the idea of breaking something. Like
it's not.
especially after I spent all this money in the setup, why would I ever break it?
No. Unless it's
It's
broken on the
ridiculous.
way out, right? And maybe make a little bit of content
True.
before you destroy it. That's the only time I would ever
Exactly.
consider that. Um,
Hmm.
Oh, what question did I have? After streaming advice, can we please have a Wave and Stally dance off?
That happened at
It
TwitchCon.
did.
I don't know.
That shit was fun,
I'm
man.
tired from that. It was.
Wave. Speaking of TwitchCon, all right, give us your let's say main advantage and main disadvantage of what you found at TwitchCon, or the thing that you liked most, and the thing that you disliked the most from TwitchCon.
Hmm. I say what I liked most. Got to see all my favorite people. Got to give them multiple. I like you probably asked Sally. I gave him multiple hugs. Like everyone I saw, because I
Yeah,
knew I wouldn't see him for like forever. So I was just like, I was like touching him. I was like, "You're real?" You
yeah.
know, like
His
it's
hands
crazy
went everywhere, bro. Like holy shit. I
everywhere.
still
Like
haven't washed. I
TOS.
still haven't washed since.
But basically, like that was awesome. Like meeting everyone and then being able to, I don't know, just be in the same room with like so many awesome people that you like kind of get to enjoy. I'd say the biggest, and like meeting big streamers. And I'd say the biggest disadvantage or the thing I liked least was I felt like TwitchCon was more of a community based than streamer based.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I felt like as a community member, like you get to just meet everyone that you look up to. As a streamer, I feel like it was tough to go and find devs and find opportunities for like the stuff you would think that you would find.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of like brands like energy drinks and stuff there. I didn't see like a ton of like video game stuff like you would like at E3.
Yeah, I think it's a different because it would have been a convention. It's like the same with Insomnia. When you go to Insomnia, which is like a UK based festival, that's full of like new games that are coming out and like indie like producers and stuff. Whereas TwitchCon is more about like sponsorships and these big companies just turning up to get their name shown, if that makes sense, with like a couple of new games and stuff in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a very very different style. Do you find yourself wanting to go back next year? Do you think you'll go back?
Probably. It was too fun not to. Like
Yeah.
I always called it the best week of my life.
Yeah.
And it being in Cali, like the weather, oh my gosh, like all the food. I ate way too many burgers. I think next year I'm just gonna book a room in a hospital just in case.
What, you eat too many burgers again? Yeah.
I had way too many burgers, too much cholesterol.
Dude,
So
if I could even tell you, from obviously being from the UK, I don't eat the same food that you guys have bigger portions. So while I was there, I made sure to succumb to it. And bro, if I tell you how much I ate while I was out there, it was disgraceful.
oh, so bad.
Honestly, the portions that you guys do in the States, man, I thought it was all this hyped up shit. It's definitely not. It's definitely not. It's fucking
Wait,
crazy.
so you get more food or less food?
Way less, like ridiculously less.
What?
Like,
really?
You guys eat like fucking mammoths out there. It's crazy, but the food's good though.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
you just got to be careful how much grease is on it. Like, it's sounds like you're a quitter. No, bro, I ate my body weight in food. Okay, I don't. You don't need to challenge me to that. I don't. I will always do that. So
we usually get a side of grease in the States, just in case there's not enough. Pour it over.
And a shit ton of ranch sauce, bro. That shit was amazing.
Oh, I love it. You had ranch for the first time or no?
Yeah, we don't really. Well, we do have it in the UK, but it's pretty rare apparently. So, yeah,
wow.
right. I know.
That's nuts. Ranch is the shit.
Ranch is the fucking life. Where's your favorite place to eat at in the States? Since we're on this topic at the moment, then.
Ooh,
where would you say?
Man, this is hard hitting questions. It depends on like what kind of food, but I'd say my favorite food is probably either Mexican or Chinese.
Okay.
But like when I was in Cali, I would say I love sushi too. I think Shake Shack was so good. Like I tweeted something and people got so pissed that I like didn't really care for Five Guys because we have it in Michigan, and I don't know if it's maybe that particular Five Guys, but like the way Shake Shack prepared their burger was just, it literally melted in my mouth.
Mate, that sounds amazing.
It's so good.
I became in love with Buffalo Wild Wings out there. That place is insane, dude.
Oh yeah,
the shit's so good. Shit is so good. So let's move back to the streaming stuff because y'all are making me hungry.
For real.
Yeah, you guys are making me fucking hungry. What would you say? So let's say, for example, I was a brand new streamer, right? And I was to say, what are your like three your in the journey that you've had so far? Your biggest three pieces of advice that you've learned in the journey so far?
I'd say don't get discouraged because everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah.
And that could be for any size, honestly. Like I remember I was watching a video, it was like Courage reflecting on his last year, and he said he was at like half the subs, half the views like he used to be at, but he's the happiest he's ever been.
Yeah.
So it was like all about perspective.
Yeah.
And I would say always try to like outsource and meet people like graphic designers and stuff, but like make sure you're ready when you invest money in streaming.
Yeah.
Not just get affiliate and drop like $4,000 on a PC or something.
Imagine,
people don't go crazy.
Yeah.
I'd say try to like get known within the community. That's always like, that's something for everyone, like,
yeah,
especially when you're smaller. Try to visit as many channels as you can. DMing people is so underrated. I think you can build real connections, and if you actually just like put streaming aside and just try to like get to know somebody as a friend. Like I've met real friends through like DMs rather than I remember in the beginning people would just be spamming their DMs. They'd be like, "Go check out my Twitch channel, lurk for lurk, all this stupid stuff."
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, "What are you doing?" Like, I don't know. It's crazy. So yeah, I'd just say like don't get discouraged and try to build on multiple platforms because if you put all your eggs in one basket and something goes down, say like Instagram goes down or goes bankrupt or you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
Just to diversify your content and try to build on multiple platforms because it's more opportunity for people to get to your channel and meet you. So
you said about smaller streamers, right? I find the word smaller very perspective. Obviously,
it is.
It's very retrospect, right? It's like, I like to have like this scenario where it's like a brand new streamer would see somebody with like 4 viewers and 50 followers as a big streamer, and that person would see somebody with 300 viewers and 300 followers and 10 followers a big streamer, who then sees the above and it just goes up and up and up and up and up. It's all like massively perspective in what you think is a small streamer and a big streamer. I like to use the word up and coming. If you're like early on into the journey or growing, yeah, that's a good one. And also, what do you think? How important do you think it is that people come outside of their comfort zone when, like, for example, DMing people and doing things that they're not accustomed to?
So as far as like that, I would say definitely like reach out to people because like what's gonna happen? The worst that could happen is they say no, they don't want to meet anyone, which in that case they're an asshole, or 2, they just ignore it or they didn't get to it.
Yeah.
But I would say stepping out of your comfort zone is the number one thing every content creator should be focused on because that's kind of where you have room for growth. So like you see like or like how I started or like how everyone else starts, you can kind of tell like they have the robotic type personality because they're so nervous or scared and they're not comfortable. So like once you get out of that comfort zone and start dancing or doing like singing or like doing any kinds of it's like with anything content related, getting out of your comfort zone is the only way you'll see real growth.
Yeah, and getting outside of your comfort zone is a massive one. Somebody actually said in the chat about DMing people and not getting a DM back. You guys want to know a secret piece of amazing advice that almost gets your DM back every time? When you DM someone, don't even mention your Twitch channel, right? Just go in there, have a look at someone's Twitter channel and be like, right, I like this about this person. I like this about this person. And then throw them the compliment and just be like, hey, we just dropped a follow to each other. I usually say, in my opinion, there's no point following each other if you're not going to connect. I've checked your channel over. I like your graphics, or I like this video that you posted up. I can see that you're into this game. How are you finding it? It's a conversation starter. It already shows that you're interested in that person as a person, rather than just trying to get that person to click on your link and like. As you continue a conversation, you'll most likely end up talking about things that you're both interested in anyway. And I guarantee you'll end up at some point going down the route of, well, this is when I stream, this is when I stream, and boom, you've just potentially made a new friend. Just not being a dick and just trying to throw your fucking, channel in their face from the very start. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say like that works for not even the streaming, but like if you want to make a friend or like talk to someone you're interested in, like finding some similar interests or something you can point out to start a conversation to not make it like just a hey or hi. It goes a long way.
Yeah. Yeah, Nando, there you go. And you say you talk about it a lot. Honestly, it's the tactic I use every single time. If I see somebody who I think, right, I want to... Because every Tuesday I go through and DM every single person that I followed that I haven't already spoke to. This is on Twitter.
Wow.
I will every time, bro. So if I follow you, you'll probably get a DM from me at some point. And in that, I'll look through your content. I'll be like, I like this about you. I'm going to go and compliment you on that now. And usually, I get a response about 99% of the time. So it's really, it's a great thing to do and definitely a great way of going about it. So that was obviously
stressed out. Like replying to DMs, like I've had like 20 or 30, and I get a headache. Stally's probably on the ground with his like 3,000 DMs he's got to respond to every Tuesday.
I get to being honest with you, especially right now with the Twitter impressions and everything. I probably get about 40 to 50 a day. And that's just that's just Twitter. Obviously, I'm in like loads of different hype groups and stuff, so they constantly go off. So I have to keep up with them. But on average, you're probably looking at about 40 to 50 DMs a day. I used to stress myself out because I used to have to try and reply to every single one of them, and I wanted to make sure everything was read and replied to. Now I'm like, bruh, when I
Yeah.
got a second, I'll get to it, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Again, it's all perspective and how you look at it. What about
Mhm.
you? Do you find yourself ever stressed out with like workload and stuff, or?
Yeah. I mean, when I was in DM, like the thing that probably stressed me out the most was like DMing people because people would think I'm ignoring them, and I'm like, no, like
Yeah,
I'm trying to have 30 conversations a day. Like
yeah,
it's tough,
yeah.
you know?
It really is. Like trying to manage that alongside a job, a potential relationship, family and everything. Like
Yeah.
some people are and sometimes it comes down to the naivety, especially of like newer streamers when they come into the game and they
Hmm.
realize that you actually will reply to them, and
Hmm.
they start saying, "Yo, why are you not replying to me anymore?" Or they send you like 6, 7 messages, and you're like, "Yo, just give me time, man, and I'll get back to you."
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
sometimes it comes down to that. Sometimes it comes down to other things, but yeah, there's a lot of
Hmm.
perspective, man. There's a lot of things that people do outside of their own time, especially how generous some people are, and it's great to see that some people are out there giving information and support to other people. You keep
For
talking
sure.
about podcasts and stuff. Like, do you currently do anything like that right now, or is that something you're looking to set up in future?
I was looking forward to setting it up, but it's on my mind a lot because we literally launched our first episode like last Thursday, I think it was.
Okay,
So we'll be doing that weekly. Me and Stadium Beats, if you know who that is.
I've heard them. Yeah,
Yeah, he's one of my best friends in real life. But yeah, so I've always like watched podcasts like even before streaming and stuff. So like it was about time that I started working on that.
and does your podcast going to have a particular theme, idea to it? What is it you plan to do with what your idea, or whatever
uh,
you can share with us at this point?
like so the first episode is mainly about like it's like I would say it has a touch of like E3 like
Okay,
gaming in it because it's like news, like we talked about the PlayStation 5 and
mhm,
Gears of War and Destiny. So like
okay,
it'll be gaming themed, but like you know how it is like with your best
mhm.
friends, like you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of BS for a while. So like it'll probably go into that eventually.
How important is that going to be for you to then upload that content onto social media to kind of get that podcast
Uh
going?
that's like probably one of my main focuses
Mm,
besides streaming right now for
yeah,
sure because like I said, like I was like YouTube was such a mystery to me and it still is, so like
yeah,
a podcast will be a good jump for that
yeah.
to focus on, so for sure.
So in terms of you said about obviously social media, try and give us like a time split in between how much you stream and how much you focus on social media. What's your time split between the two right now, and where do you prioritize?
Streaming's probably 3 to 4 days a week for
Okay.
about, I mean, I'm still getting back with my voice and stuff,
Yeah.
so that's like 4 hour streams like 3 or 4
Okay.
times a week.
Yeah.
They're kind of scattered right now just because I'm getting back into it.
Yeah.
I keep it updated on Discord and Twitter. I'd say Twitter's probably my main. Twitter and TikTok, I'd probably spend. Geez, I know you ever seen that like screen time thing on your phone?
Mhm.
You can check how long you've been on social
I
media.
haven't. I don't
Like,
think I'd want to know. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, I didn't want to know. Like, I'm gonna delete that, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm on Twitter like almost all day. Instagram's like when I want to post, pretty much. Uh, and then TikTok is kind of randomly when I get like an idea to like spark. So, and then Discord, I'll try to at least say hi to the community.
Same.
Maybe pop in, yeah, like pop into other Discords and say hi every once in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say social media is more. I'm putting more time in probably social media, but like I also try to like go in stream elements and see if
Mm.
I can update some alerts or like fine tune stuff, and then every once in a while look on Twitch and see if there's a new extension I could use.
Yeah, it's always really
So
important, like you said about fine tuning, right? We can always do something better. We can always take like constructive feedback and run with it and make
mhm.
things better. Do you find yourself watching your VODs a lot? Do you like criticize your own content and stuff like that?
uh honestly, like it's probably like I commend like people that can watch their own VODs and not like, I don't know, like just cringe
I
into like
do.
a huge
I do.
ball. Like
But
if you could do that, like bravo to you. But like for me, like it is tough sometimes. Only go on my VODs for clips.
yeah,
That's the only time I'll really go on my VOD. But
yeah.
yeah, it's tough. It's really tough to like. I've never really like watching myself
Mhm.
unless I'm making like funny content. But if I'm like streaming and like interacting with chat and it's casual conversation, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's tough for me to watch right now.
Yeah, I massively cringe at myself. Like I listen to even my voice. I'm like, how the fuck do people not get annoyed listening to my dumbass voice and my accent and stuff.
I think that's a strength of yours.
What's that? What do
That's
you?
what's your voice is and your accent's like a strength of yours. That's what kind of separates you from a lot of people because I don't know too many UK
Yeah,
streamers. So when I see you, it's just refreshing.
that's for
I
you.
think.
That's for you guys. But for me, when I listen to myself, I'm
Yeah.
like, my accent and my voice is just so annoying. But I try to watch like a 15 to a 30 minute segment of like a VOD just to have a look at like stream quality and voice quality. How am I doing at reading the chat? Could I be doing better? Give myself like a criteria of stuff that I can judge myself on. Because at the end of the day, we can always
Yeah.
get better. Chat. We can always get better.
Do you take notes and stuff when you do that?
I have a list of about 10 to 15 questions.
Okay.
So for example, I have like sound, volume, interaction with chat.
Hmm.
Is it interesting to watch what I'm doing? Do I look tired, fatigued? Is there any problems going on? Is the stream like, like chipping? Is there issues with the graphics? I must write down about 10 to 15 things, and then I'll go through and I'll vote on a thing like 1 to 10 out of like a 15 to 30 minute segment and think, right, this is how I did on this. This is how I did on this.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's really
Okay.
helped me. I say perfect because you can't perfect it, but it's really helped me kind of work on my weaknesses and also
Hmm.
improve on my strengths as well, because then people, I look at what people say in the chat and think, you know what, this person really likes this about me, I'm going to push this further.
Hmm.
So if I have any advice for you guys, is definitely, if you can, without cringing too hard, of course, 15 to 30 minute segments, just give yourself a criteria to, vote yourself on, and just watch it from like a neutral perspective. Don't even think that you're watching yourself. Just think, if I was a neutral viewer, how much would I enjoy this right now? So
That's the little
yeah.
stuff that I think people love to hear because like I never knew you did that or anyone did that. So I love hearing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and end of the day, dude, if you're not criticizing yourself, then how can
Hmm.
you continue to improve? You can only take so much from other people before you got to start thinking, you know what, I need to find out what else I need to be doing better as well. So
Hmm.
moving forward, going back to yourself, what's the future for you, your channel? Are you looking forward to Call of Duty, any other games, any other titles coming out that are going to make a difference to you?
I think I'll at least it'd be a shame to not try Call of Duty because it just looks I don't know, it looks like a fun game. It looks
Yeah.
like a lot of Call of Duty people like yourself are excited for it. So
Mhm.
like I think I'd be a fool not to try it. And as far as like the future for myself is just to create like more quality content, try to influx my personality more into it. So like instead of because like when I first started, I was more about like being serious and like I'm like one of the least serious people. Like it might be even be hard to tell in this interview, but like I'm one of the least serious people you'll ever meet. Like I'm always joking. Like I'm
Yeah.
always joking with a Sicily, MD, and just saying stupid stuff. Like we were at TwitchCon, just joke around the entire time, just dying laughing.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem or not problem, but a big thing a lot of streamers can work on is really truly being themselves and transparent on camera to where like it's almost like you're off camera, you're so comfortable. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get to that point, you know.
Yeah. I
I
released
think that's the biggest thing.
No, absolutely. I was just to go off that comment. I released a video recently saying, there is a viewer base for any type of personality, right? No matter what your personality is, you
Hmm.
can mold it into something where, as long as you're comfortable behind the camera, certain people feel like they have to put this persona on to try and gain viewers. What's your perspective on that? Do you think that anybody can succeed if they do it the right way?
I think they definitely can because you see like Dr. Disrespect and Tyler One both have a persona,
Yeah.
but I think it's still like part of their personality, so it's not a
Yeah.
complete it's not a complete like act, but that's
Yeah.
tough to act on camera for that long, especially streaming because like it's hours. It's not like one YouTube video that's edited up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know how they do it. Like, seriously. I mean, Tyler
Yeah,
One
it's
just kind of looks
nuts.
like a fucking nut job anyway. So I can understand it's probably just like, casual for him. But people like Doctor
Yeah.
Disrespect, I completely agree. It's the whole face mask. How he's just
Hmm.
like this really like upbeat, cocky, FPS player that everybody loves because of his attitude. Like, that must be
Hmm.
really hard to like switch that, because he's had it hours a day in front of thousands of people.
Hmm.
And I know for me personally, I'd rather just be myself. And then when people
True.
meet me,
Same.
realize that that it's exactly the same person behind the camera that is in front of the camera as well. So I think that
Exactly.
makes a huge, huge difference.
That's the big thing. Like, yeah, like when I was going to TwitchCon, I'm like, I didn't ask anyone, but I was curious to like if anyone thought I was the same as I was, because like I see people that tweet a certain way that has a certain notion of like very like attitude oriented, where they're like mad about something.
Yeah.
Then I go to their stream and they're like the sweetest, nicest person. I'm just like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like,
Yeah.
I like to be consistent on like every platform, and then when you meet me in person, it's just like, oh, like I've seen your content, you're the same in person, everything's consistent, it makes sense.
Do you think that's important?
For sure. I think it's super important because like, I don't know, I just feel like people might get a bad impression or think you're fake because like, why are you acting like this type of way on social media or streaming, and then in person you're completely different? Yeah. I feel like it's too hard of a challenge to always like switch up how you're thinking.
Yeah, I'm the same with you on that, but I think it's important just to be yourself, and then it just comes out naturally, right? You don't have to put on a persona or try and be anything. Vexy in the chat says, what's the difference between it's someone telling you to step out of your comfort zone and then being yourself on stream?
That's a good question.
Let me just shut this window real quick. Sorry, it's chucking it down here. Sorry,
okay. You go. It's getting a little cold in here. Let's see. Difference between someone telling you to step out of your comfort zone and being yourself. So I would say when I said like stepping out of your comfort zone, it might feel uncomfortable, but it's something that you have to do to push yourself to create better content. Because if you're always comfortable and conservative and you're not taking risks, basically it's like taking risks. And like say like you're at home and you're playing music and you're like cleaning the house or something, you're like dancing and doing crazy stuff. Well, 99% of new streamers or growing streamers wouldn't do that on stream. I'm saying like once you can overcome that challenge and be that silly dancing, cleaning person in your house on stream, then people will love that.
Yeah.
And people have really good senses. They can tell when you're being your true self, and people can relate to that because you're being weird, you're being funny, you're being yourself. So I think that'd be my answer to that. And then yeah, it sounds like two different things, but it's basically like being your full true self on stream, and it's uncomfortable.
Viola actually gives it from an interesting point of view in saying that she understands the point, but 99% of people are never going to meet you in person anyway. So do they really care? Interesting perspective. What do you think about
that? I mean, that's true, but I would just say, like, if you get to a certain point in growth, like you're going to meet game devs and sponsorships in person. So those are the people that are going to matter when they see your content.
Yeah, and if you ever do kind of make it like bigger and bigger, when you go to these events, like if you are someone who will go to events, because there is massive opportunity for people at events to go there and meet community people and get to know people and you know, network and whatnot for sponsors and not. In that, if you are completely different in person than you are when they meet you, it's kind of like you are not at all like what you're supposed to be. Well, what I thought you would be, and not necessarily that might be a bad thing, but if you're like a complete like dick on social media, then they meet you and you're like the nicest person, and be like, do you just kind of put it on for a front? Or again, I think I'd rather just be consistent in just being how I am anyway, and then it just kind of comes out a lot more naturally. Someone else asked something in the chat real quick. Yeah, actually, it's around the question that what Eliza said in regards to YouTubers, and I especially noticed this in YouTubers. They put this real, like, especially like young YouTubers, put this real like hype personality on, like screaming into the mic and that. What are your thoughts on that and these like kids trying to blow up on YouTube? Do you feel like there's a need for it?
I think that's just what everyone thinks that you have to do. Because I remember like when everyone was saying like, remember when everyone would tweet like they're going live and they'd be like, they're like, I'm going live, and like this stream's about to be hype. Yeah, like it was always, that was the key word, was hype. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna make a video like similar to that, where like there's a streamer that's like hyping up his stream. He has an intro video music. He's got like the bass drop, and he's just like, I'm about to stream, like let's do this. And then you log into his stream, and he's just sitting there, and there's like crickets. You know what I mean? Like people just see that as like a trend, so they want to follow it because it might be successful for one person. It doesn't mean, like how you said in your video, like everyone's personality can work. Yeah.
And I think portraying that in the content that you make and the clips that you make really helps you. Like, for example, I posted a video yesterday on YouTube, not YouTube, on Twitter, of my over-the-top camera, us doing like a rave in here. We had some like dirty drum and bass
Yeah.
and dancing and shit. And it's like, if you come in here, that's exactly what you're gonna get. You know what you're gonna get when you're in here. And I think it's good to have that portrayed like thing, because then people get to kind of know what you are as a person. And then when it comes to like sponsorships and stuff, and they see your clips and your videos, they already know what they're dealing with. It's not like, wait a second, this person is not what he pretends, or what he or she pretends to be on social media. So
Exactly.
I think it's all down just to, branding is a big part of it, and that how you are as a person is your brand as well. And it makes a big difference. Wait, what the hell does that say? I want to have a drink and carry you around like everyone else does. No, listen, what I think he's referring to when fucking thingy threw me on the floor. Listen, Twitchport, you behave yourself. Wave, what's the potential of us being able to see the current setup that you're running right now? Are you able to like swivel the camera so we can see what you're working with? Is that possible?
That's hilarious because I cleaned my room up a little bit because I knew you were gonna ask something like that. I don't know why. Hide this dirty.
Yeah, don't worry about all that business. I'm just interested to see like how your setup looks and stuff like that.
All right. Grab this. Let's see. All right, so basically, it's hard to like see because of the delay.
Hi, chat.
But like, there's my keyboard. Got the K75. I got a nice little. I would definitely recommend like a big mouse mat. Like
that's what I have. Yeah.
Mouse mat.
Yeah.
I got the voice changer. I got a new mixer. Nice. So I'm still trying to figure this shit out. Audio technical difficulties are great. You gotta love those. Yeah. Got the stream deck right here. Got the ring light right there.
Nice.
And then I got my second monitor, which is what I use for chat and everything.
Yeah.
So pretty simple.
Nice.
Got this. But yeah, pretty simple.
Nice. What do you think is the most key thing in your streaming setup that you've got? Like, what's the thing that you enjoy the most? The thing that makes the biggest difference?
Let's see. I like the stream deck is huge. I know streamers love that.
Yeah.
The ring light is great for lighting as well. So yeah, I'd say the stream deck's probably the biggest.
Yeah. So people that don't use a stream deck, and I'm interested to see what your opinion is on this, because I love talking about the stream deck. What benefits have you had from it, and why do you think that it's such an important thing in production that every streamer should get? What's your thoughts?
I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome because like before a stream deck, I didn't even really know how to use hotkeys. So yeah, if you're tech savvy, I think you don't really need a stream deck, but it's nice to have the little pictures there.
Yeah.
And see exactly what you're pressing. I don't know if it's maybe an update I need or something, but I wish it was a little quicker. And I wish that for sounds, you could hold a sound. So like, say someone's like doing the curse, like the bleep. I wish I could do that. I might have to learn how to do that, but I wish you could like hold the bleep and then let go. But I think you just play whatever the length of the clip is.
You mean like having clips from the stream deck? Is that what you mean? Because I don't use it for that personally.
Oh, you don't use sound bites?
I use like sounds and stuff, but I don't have like any clips or anything, if that makes sense. And usually when you click the sound, it will just play on the stream, if that makes sense. Is that what you're referring to, or do you mean something else?
I was just like, maybe just like having a sound effect and like holding it out instead of just playing it.
Like, as far as I know, with the sound bites and stuff, so say for example, I play one of the ones that I got, like D's nuts, for example. D's nuts. If you click it, it will play, and the minute that you click it again, it will stop at any point that you've unclicked it. If that makes sense. Is that what are you referring to? Do you mean just like, because if you want to stop it early, you can just click it again, and it'll actually cut the soundbite out earlier. Am I sponsored by Stream Deck? No, I wish. That would have been amazing.
Hashtag ad, yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, honestly, I don't know how to use macros, so the Stream Deck literally changed my life. So
it is nice, and then you can like switch scenes really quick. You can add green screen effects.
Yeah.
He said there's an add-on for the Stream Deck to make it bleep, so I might have to look into that actually.
Interesting. Very interesting.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that people don't even know that you can do with it, like multiple actions and stuff. I haven't looked too crazy into that because I don't know if I need it, but yeah. I mean, it's nice for sure. I would say it's a game changer for streaming because it makes everything seem so seamless. You're not taking your mouse and like looking through Streamlabs trying to read what scene you want and clicking it. Like it's just, you know,
it's production value, right? It's kind of like everything's just flinging around and like it's like this person looks professional in what they're doing. It's honestly, I think it's absolutely amazing. Definitely, probably I agree with Wade. It's probably my favorite thing that I've got in my whole setup as well. I think someone else asked something in the chat. Also, Buckshot, thank you for coming in. And everybody who's here right now, let me just do a quick rewind as we get in for the last half an hour of the
Hmm.
stream. We have my friend and legend streamer ElectricityWave in the chat right now. If you guys don't know who he is, I'm about to drop his Twitter link in the chat, so go drop him a follow, check him out. We spoke about his past, where he wants to go to in streaming, the games he plays and everything like that, and now we're just moving on to kind of like the final credentials as we wrap the show up in the next 30 minutes or so. Out of 10, how excited are you for the new COD game? I know you said you were going to try it, right? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a tough number though, because like I know like so many people grew up playing Call of Duty like crazy, and
Yeah.
I mainly played. I didn't get into Call of Duty because I had super strict parents, so like I wasn't even really allowed to play like shooters really until I was like, I don't know, in high school.
Okay.
So I think the first Call of Duty I played was World at War Zombies with
Wow.
friends.
Okay.
So I don't know, like from my perspective, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's I'd say like a 7 or 8. Like I'll
Okay.
definitely be excited to try it, but like if I was a Call of Duty head, like yeah, I want to play this game now. So
yeah, that's literally sums me up right now. Like, I'm literally clutched on straws waiting for this goddamn game to come out.
mhm.
Hold on. Only something different on stream. Wait, there was. I knew there was a question in the chat. Sorry, I don't want to discuss this, which is right anyway. Is that still? Yeah, Eliza said the only time I'm different on stream from IRL is when my mum stops by because there's things I don't want to discuss with her around due to reasons. But then that's me being myself when she's around IRL anyway. So is that me still being myself in a way or not?
You're being respectful to your parents, so like that's definitely understandable.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get your own house, you'd be like, "Fuck you, mom!" No, I'm just kidding. Don't say that, but you can go crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of being in the environment, you know.
Have you ever had it like difficult with being a? I don't know, because I obviously don't know, like in terms of like you, if you've had like, have you ever had like a, you know, friends, parents, or a relationship that have made things hard for you in the life of streaming?
I'd say the only thing that a relationship has done for streaming is take time away from it, because
Yeah.
girls you invest a lot of time and money into girls, like if you want to like stay with them and you know have fun and like do fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I would say if anything it's affected like the time I've had, but that's kind of why I'm like focused on staying like single and just finishing school and growing this before I worry about that stuff.
Yeah. So you've actually had it fairly okay then, like in terms of like parents and friends, people understanding what you do. Nobody really like being like, "Why are you doing this?" Or you not had anything like
Right.
that.
Actually, my dad's always been super supportive of
Okay. Nice.
like streaming and stuff. So like that
Cool.
part's cool. My mom's supportive. I've been blessed to have like
Yeah.
parents that are like they believe in me and they know I'll like do big things, and they are always like, "What are you into? Like, how can we do better?" And they're not like shutting down my dreams and stuff. Like it sucks to have a like that situation, but
Yeah.
yeah, I've been lucky enough to have supportive parents for sure.
I think there's a lot of people that go through that. So to hear that you haven't is quite interesting. I'm the same as you, very lucky. You know, it's just me and mum at home. She's super supportive, always said to me, you know, if you want to do it, do it. It's your dreams. I believe in you, which is great. But some parents are really against it, or some people are in relationships where, again, I was in one, you know, so I relate to this part of it where my girlfriend didn't understand it. I didn't even expect her to understand it. All I wanted was a bit of mutual support, as you know, clearly would. And you wouldn't even get that. For your opinion, I know you obviously haven't gone through it, but do you have any advice or anything that you know that other friends come through to help these people like pursue through that current situation?
I mean, it sucks because like you can't control like how someone feels about a certain situation because they're their own person. But what I would do is try my best to explain to them the world of Twitch, what you do on a daily, how you're productive, how passionate you are about it, and if I mean they should be understanding after you explain everything. But if it's not at that point, then I mean it's their fault.
Yeah,
You know, like there's nothing you can do at a certain point.
yeah. It gets really difficult. I imagine, especially again, not something that I've gone through, but the parents' perspective, especially as
Yeah.
somebody between the age of I don't know 13 to 18, where you know you have this opportunity, especially at a young age, to start branding and marketing yourself. And obviously, the earlier the better. You know, the earlier you get out there, the more time you've got ahead to keep going, and you can't because you have like really strict parents and stuff. And I hear about these stories a lot, man, and it kind of makes me feel sad because even though I understand that their parents don't want them on the internet for malicious stuff, there's also great opportunities for their kids, and this where a lot of the money is now.
True.
Interested to hear from your perspective as well. Streaming, from what I've seen on the last 8 to 9 years, big streams back in the day used to pull 50 to 100 viewers. Like the biggest would pull like,
Wow.
I used to watch Halo 3 competitions, right? And there'd be like 70 people in the chat watching, and that was considered like what 50K is now. It's fucking nuts because people didn't know about it, or the games weren't anywhere near that big. So in regards to just your experience from since you've been streaming, how much have you seen streaming, Twitch and everything grow, and where do you think it's going?
I think, let's see, there was a part where streaming was like everyone, like it was kind of like when I started those like first 6 months. That was when streaming and like Ninja was averaging, like I remember he was like at 100 to 150,000 every day. Nuts.
Yeah.
And that's when streaming was banging. But I think everyone's they're not everyone, but like there's certain people that have like quit along the way, or they had other responsibilities. So like part of it's died down, or like viewers want to become streamers now. Like everyone wants to stream. But I still think that like Twitch is in like the baby stage of it. Because you think about how many people, if you had to like do a survey on Facebook, how many people would know about Twitch? Like the percent, like super low.
Yeah, I guarantee Karen, who works down at Asda, would have no fucking idea what Twitch is.
Exactly.
Fucking Karen.
Exactly. Fucking Karen.
Fucking Karen, always ruining people's lives and shitting on.
Doesn't even know what Twitch Prime is.
I know. She sits there and fucking has the job moaning about streamers and shit. Anyway, moving forward away from Karen. Every time we get somebody here on the interview, Wave, I don't know if you know about this section, but we allow them to add their own command in the chat and to have like their own motto as well. All right. Have you had a thought about this? Do you know?
I forgot about this part. I should have been more prepared.
What do you know? Do you have like a catchphrase, something you're like known for saying or doing? So that's like.
Oh, all right, yeah, I do have one. Okay. One of my emotes is "Y'all are gods." It's basically just when I tell like. It started off like super. It kind of started off in a toxic way because like we would dominate a team in a game, and instead of saying you guys are trash, I'm like, you guys are so good.
Yeah.
Like it'd be the opposite. Like y'all are gods. And then I started telling my chat that. And it started to like turn into like a nice thing. Like you guys are amazing. You're gods, you're goddesses, all that stuff. So like, here's the email. So I could do y'all are gods for mine.
Let's do it. Do I have any mods in here right now? If not, I'll have it saved and I can add it in. If I have any mods in here, so we're going to have !wave. Do you want, or do you want like a different?
Wave works perfect.
Yeah.
It's good.
So if I have any mods in here, can we have !wave and then the command be y'all are gods? And this is something we do for everybody who we pull in for an interview. Again, if there's no mods here right now, I'll get it saved in and I'll get it added on afterwards. But I appreciate that.
Appreciate you, man.
Nah, man, I appreciate you. Every time you come in now, you can be like, !wave and be like, yo, got my own command here. Love that.
Y'all are gods. I can't wait.
Yeah, we have loads and loads of random stuff in here, like !arse, none. I only remember
There's a lot of them.
I only remember the really dirty ones. I don't know why. There's so many and I always forget. And I only remember like the really, really funny ones. Awesome, bro. Moving forward, so we've got about 25 minutes left. Is there anyone who's made like a massive impact on you in regards to, at any point during the stream, like your streaming perspective, have you ever even thought about quitting? Has anybody ever like stopped you from like wanting to quit, or has anybody, giving you motivation to continue on and keep going?
Let's see. Big inspiration or someone that stopped. The only thing is I haven't really ever stopped or I've never like wanted to quit. But I'd say like a big inspiration. I'd say the community is an inspiration. When I see like people have a big stream or like a great like a moment from a stream, or like they got a sponsorship or something like that, inspires me. I think a lot of people look at other people's successes and they get a little jealous, which I mean, it is like human nature because it's something that you want that you don't have. But I think if you can flip it and turn it into like, how can I get that or get something I want? That's the proper way to think about it.
It's I'm so glad you said that. It's absolutely, it's one of the biggest pieces of advice that I give all the time. If you can change your perspective of jealousy to happiness for somebody, and that they've actually worked hard to get where they are, and turn that into, rather asking the question of how did I get here to, how did that person get there, to that person's worked hard to get there. What can I do better to get to the same kind of level? It will literally change everything for you. because
Hmm.
growing up as a streamer, when I started, I was like that. I'll admit, I was like, yo, how are these people getting all these viewers? How's this guy doing this? How's this person doing that? I flipped that and said, well, okay, this person obviously has this really good strength that they do with this. That's how they do that. What can I do to make my content better? And
Exactly.
mentality is such a massive thing, right? When it comes to
It
streaming, like
is.
it's so huge. Like, have you ever had a situation where you've looked at all your stats, and even though you've been working really hard, you just see everything in the red, and you just sit there and just question yourself, like, what am I doing wrong? Have you had that situation? And if
Hmm.
so, what did you do to like overcome it and get through to the next stage?
Uh, I think a good thing to do is to kind of look at streamers that are doing well
Yeah,
and say, what are they doing different? Are they networking more? Am I like, how much downtime do I have where I should be doing something that's more productive?
yeah,
Or am I losing too much sleep? Like, am I wasting time working on something that doesn't matter when I could be working smarter, not harder?
yeah,
Uh, there's also like another thing where like I see a lot of people that may not like someone's content because they're growing, their videos are doing really well, their
yeah,
tweets get a lot of interactions, and as much as you may not like their content, you have to respect the work that goes into it. No matter
yeah,
how you feel about the content, you have to respect it.
yeah. Yeah, because there's people that put
So, so
some hella time into what they do, and people that want to make this, and
mhm.
and again, it's a question of how bad do you want it, right? It's also a matter of working smarter and not harder. Can you break that down a little bit in regards to some of the guys in the chat and what you mean by working smarter and not harder?
Working working too hard would be like changing your alerts and graphics every other day or
Yeah,
every week when
Oh, look, here
that's
he
not even
goes.
like half of the battle or like half of like your
yeah,
content. Like it's most people don't go into a channel and stay because of graphics. They
yeah,
stay because of either really good gameplay or interactive chat or a strong community. I think working smarter would be investing in your community and really getting to know the people that support you and planning community days, asking them what they want to see, playing with people and getting to know them.
mhm,
Uh, Understanding trends is a really big thing
yeah,
with like social media.
yeah,
So like understanding like, oh, I can make a funny video or I can make a video with advice on this, but like this is trending, so it'll be a lot smarter to make this rather than put all this time into something that might be better for a later time.
yeah,
And it's I don't know, it's just a lot of little things, just understanding like how marketing yourself works and being in the right place, the right time,
yeah.
and understanding it's a long process to get good at
Very.
and to it's also a long process to really get in your groove because everyone has their own timeline of when they're going to be successful. So like
Hmm.
one person might get 50 to 100 views within 3 months, but you might get 200 to 300 views within 3 to 4 years. But and then look back on that and be like, why was I worried in those 3 months when I was just growing?
Yeah. But even on
So,
the other side of the spectrum, if you're not growing or things are going
mhm,
backwards, again, it comes down to perspective on how you bounce back from it, right? I honestly think that the best content creators are the ones that know how to bounce back when things aren't going right. I've had the
mhm,
point where I saw red on everything, dude. Everything was going down, like, and I don't mean even down. We're talking disastrously down, like average viewer count in terms of all my
mhm,
numbers, in terms of subs, revenue, everything was just going down. I had no idea because I felt like I was putting more time than ever into my content and what I was doing. I went and took a week away. I came back with new ideas, and boom, everything flew back up into the green again. And then you start sustaining what you've got again. How
mhm.
how important are breaks, bro? Because people talk about like grinding for something and how much they want it, and some people put like all day every day into it. And you know, I pretty much put all day every day into it. I'm not gonna lie, but how important are taking breaks and also taking some time for yourself as well?
I mean, it's tough to know when to take a break if you want to work all the time and you
Yeah.
want it so bad. So like, I'd say for like that, because like my mind is always like, how can I take advantage of this moment to make new content or improve my
Mm,
channel, rather than oh I need a break. And like I love it and it's a passion. So like, why would I need a break from something I enjoy so much?
yeah.
So that's my perspective, but it's also good like going to TwitchCon was nice to like wake up and smell the roses and kind of like be away from like streaming and worrying about stuff and just enjoying it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's different for each person. Really, it's not like a end all be all thing where like, oh, you got to take a break every 3 months. Like it's so different from everyone.
Yeah. Content creation is beautiful in my opinion because it has no limit, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is no top, like
Mm-hmm.
in terms of a viewer count, in terms of a sub count. It can, in perspective, never end. Actually, it could just keep going up. It can keep going up. It can keep going down. You never know what you're going to get. And the thing with
Mm-hmm.
content creation, like you said about it before, it's keeping up with trends and trying to keep your stuff relevant and trying to keep it fresh and looking good so that people, like your content and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that that fatigues a lot of people? Like, for example, you've had someone who's been at it for 6 months to a year, and they may become what's the word for it, stagnant at where they're at. And we all stagnate at some point. That's life. You never know how long you're going to stagnate for. And you keep trying to keep things fresh, keep things new. And in the world of entertainment and content, you've always got to be thinking about the next step, like constantly. This is
Mm-hmm.
no normal job where you just go to work and get your bits done and you go home and you forget about it. You can't. If you want to become an amazing content creator, you've got to be always thinking about the next step. Do you think that's mentally draining for a lot of people?
Yeah, it definitely can be because you might like the juices might not be flowing one day. Like if you're not getting
Yeah.
enough
Oh,
sleep or
here he
your
goes.
diet's off or you're not going to the gym or you're not drinking enough water or like you don't have the right people in your life influencing you. I think that's probably one of the most important things is surrounding yourself with people that work hard
Yeah.
and you push each other. If you're competitive, you find a friend that is also competitive and you're like, oh, well, I put a YouTube video a week. And then you're like, well, I want to do that. And you kind of push each other.
Mhm.
That's why it's kind of cool if you could like, if you like some certain people have relationships on Twitch, like you can both push each other to create content
Yeah.
and collab and stuff. But yeah, it could be mentally draining for sure. Like because you're always worried about like maybe a video or a tweet doesn't or a stream doesn't go well, and then it kind of flips your perspective on everything because you're like, what did I do wrong? But like, it's not really a matter of what you did wrong. It's maybe the time and place that the something happened, or just people had stuff going on, or maybe a preparation thing, or you had issues, so stream issues, internet issues. Like there's so many factors with streaming. Like it's hard to blame it all on one thing.
Yeah, it can come down to a million things. I think one of the things that if somebody asked me what my weakness is, and I guess you could turn it also into a strength, is I'm really, really critical of myself. Like in regards to like if I feel like something's not going the way that I want it to go, or if I'm not hitting the impressions that I want, or if I'm not at the average that I want, or sub count, or whatever it may be, I get really hard on myself. Like really, really hard on myself and be like, what am I doing wrong? Like it's definitely me that's the issue. Like I think it comes down to mindset and managing that. And honestly, you can be your own worst enemy in this game. Like holy moly, you really can. Like if you're gonna sit there and doubt your ability and doubt, when you have a couple of bad days, let's say, and you start sitting there thinking that you can't do it anymore or it's something that you're doing. If you get that stuck into your head, man, that can potentially lead to a downward spiral of you not caring anymore and potentially quitting something where you completely forgot about why you started in the first place. Do you have any thoughts on that in regards to being too critical on yourself or anything?
I think for enable for you to succeed in streaming, you're gonna fail a lot. Like there's gonna be so many dips and valleys.
Yeah,
There's also gonna be mountains when you feel on top of the world. Someone drops like 100 sub bomb on you,
that's right.
or a five, or just anything crazy can happen, and you feel like you have to remember that feeling when you're feeling down. You're like, it can go up, it can go down,
Yeah,
and always have the same mindset where you're gonna work hard and you're gonna try to improve, whether you're doing super well or awful. Like if you even look at the top streamers, they're always they're like creating new events, or every once in a while they update their graphics, or they're doing giveaways, or they're trying to play with collab with new people.
yeah.
It's just a matter of always wanting to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I always do to remind me and be humble and grateful for what I've got is this board behind me. If I ever
Yeah, I
sit
love
there,
that.
yeah, if I ever sit there, because I have done before, and it's stopped me quitting. Like in the early stages, when I sat there and thought, everything's in the red, all my counts are going down, and then I just turn around and look at all these names and people that have supported me over the last 20 plus months and think I'd be waving goodbye to all of this just because my view account's gone down on an average.
Mm-hmm.
That could happen for any reason, because you change games or because
Mm-hmm.
people are busy. You never know when that's going to happen. Like, and this is why I always say
Mm-hmm.
it's important to obviously look at your statistics and stuff as a growing streamer, but take all the numbers that you see with a pinch of salt. End of the day, look at your content. How can you improve on that? What can you do better? And if you just keep doing that and keep pushing yourself forward, the numbers will eventually come. One day, you don't know
Exactly.
when, they will eventually come. But if you allow numbers and the color red to, because the color red is known to mentally like fuck with people. If you start seeing like a
Mm-hmm.
downward spiral in your growth and statistics and that, and you let that change you as a content creator, it's gonna lead to a lot of problems for yourself. So, again, keep in mind that numbers are a perspective. You're not going to get there in weeks, months, potentially even years. You have to just keep going and keep staying persistent,
Mm-hmm.
and just keep your mindset relevant. Just keep improving on your content and keep pushing forward, and eventually everything else will come with that. Wait,
Exactly.
that brings us down to our last couple of minutes. Again, the floor is yours. Do you want to give like any particular shout outs to anyone who's been, any close friends of yours, any big supporters or anything like that? The stage is yours to kind of throw your shout outs and bits and pieces.
Do you want me to talk about social media platforms, or is that the very, very end too?
Anything you want, bro.
Okay, so big shout out to Stadium Beats. He's like the person that I made my Twitch account with. I'm doing my podcast with him called Chilling for Our Lives. It's on YouTube and Spotify, and it's gonna be on Apple Music and stuff later. I post that on my Twitter.
Yeah.
But he's been a huge supporter. He's helped me with so many tech difficulties or like questions or problems. So he's helped out a lot. Assistly MD. He was the first streamer that I made friends with, and he's like my best friend on Twitch. And he's helped out a lot, having a lot of good collabs, ideas, talks with him. And then I don't know, like basically like the whole community has been like so kind to me. I haven't really ever had problems with streamers. Like everyone's been so nice, DMs, and it's been nice to collab with people and meet people like the people in the chat, like Past Prime, Evanize, yeah, Spirit.
Mhm.
It's awesome to meet people like those. As far as social media, I'm just continuing to try to grow Twitter, which is at ElectricityWave, Twitch at Electricity. Everything's the same. That's the easy
Yeah.
thing about me.
Yeah.
Is when I made my name, I checked all the social media platforms. So it's literally ElectricityWave, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like Twitch has changed my life for sure. There's a lot of IRL friends that I used to talk to where I was like, I hung out with them, but like I didn't really know where my life would go with them. But then I found like the Twitch fam, and everyone's been so supportive.
Yeah.
If you ever have like any type of problem, there's always someone to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's like a huge support base.
Yeah.
And I'm super grateful to be able to stream, and I don't miss any part of my old life. Like this is what I love to do, and it's a passion of mine, and I just want to continue to get better and grow. And yeah, I'm super grateful, and I just love everything about Twitch. Like it's crazy how much it's changed like many people's lives, not only mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm grateful to meet you as well. It was nice to finally meet you at TwitchCon, man, and dance our way off.
Yeah,
you know,
pleasure's all mine, bro. Honestly, that is the words for a very inspired man. You can see that you're dedicated at what you do. You can tell that you've got your ideas and you know where you want to be, man. It's just a story of just keeping going and keeping that same mindset. Just before we finish up, there's just another one quick question coming in from Scar Justice in regards to apart from buying the big games, she plays games that other people don't really play. She's wondering why her numbers are low in regards to that. So just before we push this over to Wave, obviously, if there's people on Twitch that aren't watching that game, you are literally going to be streaming to no one. So it is unless you've got like an already built community, let's say. So I think it's important to find a game in. I usually say anything between, I don't know, anything between two to 10,000 viewers is usually a good game boundary to get in. Do you have any advice for stuff like that, or what your partake on that would be?
I think it depends on the day, because like what I would do if I say you can't decide what game you want to play, I would look through I would browse through the games in the directory and see what the game's at. If the game's at 0, it's probably not the best game to stream if you want to grow.
Yeah.
If the game's doing better like the next day, then maybe you might want to stream it. But yeah, I usually go like maybe 1 to 2,000 to about 10 to 15,000 max, like for a game. But I would test out and see what community you feel like you fit in most, and the one that you might grow the most, and the streamers that you enjoy, and try to, like, if you find a game where you enjoy all those three things, then I would stay within that community.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
what I'd say.
And I know you said about feeling like quitting, Sky. Here's a great website that I would check out. And the great thing about this website, we pretty much speak about this every Monday about this website. If it's growth that you'll want, if it's growth that you want, especially as like a new or upcoming streamer, this website is fantastic because it shows you the best games to stream at the best hours. And as well as that, it even tells you how many people are watching that game and how many of them viewers are in the top 5% of streams. So what you want ideally is that purple number to be as low as possible and the view count to be as high as possible. That means it's loads of people watching, but not like everybody's just watching one person. Because if you're gonna play like an indie game, and you'd be like, yeah, this game has got like 20,000 viewers. This is gonna be an amazing one. But if 18,000 of them people are all watching one stream, that's the reason why the game has 20,000 viewers. All right. So when I was up and coming, no, it's called Twitch Strike. I'm pasting it in the chat right now. When I was up and coming, let's say, I actually used this website to help guide me on what ones are good, and it helped me break into new brackets that I didn't think I could get into before. I would monitor it, I would watch it, and think, right, just before I went live, what games are really good to play right now? As long as they're like kind of relevant to how my style is, and I had them. For example, I don't know, like if you look in the list right now, Pokemon Let's Go is really good to stream right now. The Master Chief Collection's in there, although the views are pretty low. Again, the higher the view count and the lower the purple percentage number, the more chance you've got of people are hopping around different streams and wanting to meet new people. You could even like sign into the website and say what your best games are or what you enjoy playing, and it will tell you what times and stuff are the best to stream it. It's really helpful. If it's growth that you want, check it out. It may even change things up for you. So
that's awesome.
All right, Mr. Wave. That pretty much concludes our show for today, my dude. Any last like messages, requests, or anything like that before we flip it up?
If you guys ever want to check out a new podcast, it's called Chilling for Our Lives on Spotify. I'll tweet about it. If you ever want to like DM me and talk and get to know me, you can. The DMs are always open. I just have to open the requests because there's a lot of people that spam links.
Yeah.
So I keep them like requested.
Yeah.
And I play Destiny and a little bit of Gears of War. And I might check out Fort to see like what all the hype's about once they get rid of that black hole.
Yeah.
But
eventually.
Yeah, I'm always exactly. I'm always open to meeting new people. So I appreciate the opportunity and having me on, brother.
Absolutely, bro. You're somebody who I had my eye on for a while. Someone I had on the list that I wanted to get in it. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here. Guys in the chat, if you're here right now, can you please give a round of applause, whatever emotes you got, out to my boy Wave for taking the time out to come onto the show today. My dude, thank you very much. And you have a great rest of your night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Have a great night.
You too, bro. Take care. Peace. That is the end of today's podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all enjoyed it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was my boy ElectricityWave. If you guys haven't already checked it out, or if you just made it to the stream, his Twitch link is in the chat. You can find all his stuff from that as well.